Okay.
Let's get right into the nudes.
And like crap. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pit Podcast, where we talk about the hottest topics about the hot team. I'm joined by my hosts Nathan Gonzalez and Chris Fong. Thanks for joining me here today.
Anytime.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
I like to see that you guys wore volunteer shirts just like I did last week. I'm a trendsetter. Wish you guys would have told me that, but it's okay.
Yeah. So what brought you here? What kind of in your life led up to this moment?
Food.
Okay.
I smell food, and I'm here now, so better give me food. Boy.
True story. True story.
Based on a true story.
I like building stuff with my hands. I like doing stuff and working with the team and just making
cool,
cool stuff.
So some topics for today's podcast. We're starting out with this is a good one. Coaches, students versus adults.
Spicy.
This
is
is
the big
spicy.
one.
This
This
is
is the
definitely
most talked about topic in first, I think. One of the most, right?
I think so.
Spicy topic.
Yeah.
Before we get too into it, why don't we just go around and a couple very briefly say our stance on it?
Okay. Me first? You first? Me first? Me first. I'll
Yeah.
start.
Go for it, Nate.
I'm actually I lean towards student side, but I am closer to the borderline than I think most people think. But I am on the student side, so it is. I do believe this is for the students. It's a student program. I do a lot of the times see the points for having an adult drive coach there, and I do admit that there are some cases where that's appropriate. But I and my team firmly believe that this is for the students, and a student should be on drive team.
I'm on the same boat as well, where being a former student drive coach myself, I felt that the experience and the leadership aspect of being a drive coach and being able to learn how to communicate with other teams, other people in high stress situations definitely has helped improve my up and coming life skills. Back in college and now a job and all that. I think that helped lead up like a stepping stone to where I'm at. And I think that for given how this is a student program, that if a student wants to have the opportunity to learn how to drive coach and to be proficient during their time as a student, there's no problem with that, right? I think it's their time and it's their absolute right to be able to get that opportunity. Now, obviously it's a high stress situation, right? You're in the competition, matches are going on, or you got to do every second. Your decision matters. You got to relay information. Obviously, for high school students, that's a lot of stuff they gotta take in. So, with that in mind, having an adult drive coach is like you said, appropriate. You know, they've got more experience. They more or less understand how to make the best decisions on the fly during a match and the best way to communicate it amongst other teams and to really help be that quote unquote authority figure if a student doesn't know what to do or they need help during the match. Now,
he said brief.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Whatever.
No,
he just
okay.
yaps. If you're gonna stop him, he's gonna keep yapping.
That's the thing. It's just that, in terms of drive coaching, like the role itself, as a student or adult, you're both doing the same thing. Yeah,
but it's one of those people is gaining a lot less than the other person would.
Right. Which was my point for a student drive coach is that as a student, you should not be afraid or you shouldn't be worried or nervous if you're with an adult mentor, because as a great friend of mine once said, that you're doing the same role as what the adult mentor coaches are doing on Drive Team. Don't be afraid, communicate, and just do what you do for your team.
Mhm.
And I think that's great advice for students that are on as Drive coach to utilize and not be afraid of adult coaches.
Jason, what's your stance?
No, yeah, I don't think there should be adult coaches. I kind of agree with you, where like maybe there could be a place for them, whether it be like a rookie team or maybe an under resource team. But really, I just think that like if anything, adult, and you could have your technician be an adult. And I think that's really I think that's the most you need.
100%. I would love to see any well-known drive coach in the game right now, mentor drive coach right now, be like, hey, I'm going to be a technician.
Yeah, that would
Right.
be.
That would mean a lot.
And like, so the way I think about it, and this is what my mentor said to me when I asked him to be the drive coach for my team. He said, every year that every year on every team that an adult is the drive coach, that's one less kid that gets that experience.
Mhm.
And since then, I could never put myself in the position to drive coach after hearing that.
When I first started mentoring too, I think I was a lot like you too, where I'm like, especially coming back from COVID, where like we've got one kid who's been to a real event. He's the only kid. Everybody else has never been to an event before. They don't know what they're doing. We should probably have an adult down there, right? So I'm like, coach, technician, what do we do? And at the end of the day, we actually ended up putting me as the technician for our first event, and then a couple of matches, at our second event, and then we swapped it over to a student. But being a technician, I think, was fun. It helped, get them to queue.
Yeah.
It was actually really, really different from my time as a driver as a student, because none of the other drive teams came up to me to talk strategy, which is really interesting. So they didn't
great.
like wearing a technician bun. Yeah, it is great, right? Let the kids do it. That's what we have on our team. I'm just there hanging out with the robot, making sure it's all up in shape and stuff. But to your other point, actually, a funny story about having an underprivileged or small team. When I was reffing at the Lansing event in 2023, we had a big snowstorm. It was that weekend of the snowstorm, and they delayed the start of the event by like an hour. And so we wake up and we got the emails and stuff, and we're like late. So we're like, just you can sleep in for an extra hour. The hotel I was staying at in Lansing had another team there, 6570, the White Fur Bobcats. So we were all getting breakfast all at the same time, and we sat down. I got to sit down with some of their mentors and learn a bit about their team, and the topic came up. I'm like, drive coach? You have a mentor drive coach? Tell me a bit about that, because like genuinely curious, like why the mentor drive coach? And their team is so nice. I still talk to them. I try to talk to them every time I see them. They had a story like that where they started out small, couple of kids. They didn't have enough kids to fill every spot on the drive team. So they had an adult be the drive coach. And from then, they've still been keeping him as the drive coach. But I think for them, it works. It's okay, because he's an awesome drive coach. And he's told me that he acts as the hype man, right? He lets the kids lead them, scouting, strategy. He lets all the students do that. He's just there for moral support. He backs them up. He gets them excited about winning their matches. They're a great team. I love working with them. They're awesome. They're a really great role model.
I think that's great to hear. I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
He's kind of taking a back seat, so to say, which is what I think a lot of these adults need to do. The quickest way to get on my negative side is for an adult to lead the pre-match discussion. That gives me the ick about that person forever. It's weird. It's weird. I'm just gonna say it's weird if you're an adult that's on drive team leading the discussion. It's like especially if you were on a team. Like I'm not trying
like
to
an alumni.
Yeah, like an alumni. It's like you had your time, and I'm not trying to like make anyone like shame anyone, but it's just like you had your time. It's just, to me, it's weird that you're still trying to be like that involved, especially in a program that is for the kids. Like if you really wanted to be for the kids, you would let them have that experience and you would coach them from the side.
It's a soft skill to learn.
Yeah,
Communication
it
and
is
talking to people.
absolutely.
Yes, just like how you got so good at talking to people, right? It's from drive coaching.
Absolutely, right,
Yeah.
right, and to have to think of that, a student won't have that opportunity because, let's say, just theoretical example, right? An adult mentor wants to quote unquote reclaim that glory for the that's not right, right? Let's give the students the opportunity that they deserve to at least develop skills and to have that experience, regardless if it's good or bad, right? That's just an experience that they deserve to have the opportunity for at the very least.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to shame anyone. Maybe weird wasn't the right word to use.
Yeah, it's within the rules. They're allowed to do what they want.
Right.
You're allowed
They're
to
allowed
do
to
it.
do this.
Personally, it feels off. It feels off to me.
Yeah.
Now, especially if
No, keep on. Sorry. It's yours.
Especially, I think because I think probably most 99% of teams with adult drive coaches do it for the competitive advantage. I think that feels off. It's because now you're taking this program that's for the kids, and now you're shifting it more into we care more about winning than we do giving the experience of the kids.
Yeah. I do like playing devil's advocate a little bit. And since we're all aligned here, I think I'm going to try to play a little bit devil's advocate. If you do have a adult drive coach, that gives the other students an experience talking to an adult, because I think that's also a real world skill where you go into the workforce. You're going to work with people of all ages, and sometimes those people don't always agree with you, right? You're going to have people close to retirement age, people just starting their careers in their early 20s or younger than that sometimes. And talking to an adult is also a life skill. We can't always just talk to people that are the same age as us. So that's one good thing I think about having an adult coach.
That's a good point.
But shifting to the winning culture, I think, is really interesting because it's different when you're a student to when you're a mentor now. Because when I was a student, that's all I wanted was to win. My team's never won a blue banner, and I really wanted to win a blue banner. So that's one of my goals, was to just win an event. I really wanted a blue banner. Some students, they have different goals. They want to have a really awesome autonomous. They want to get all the notes on the field or balance on the bridge or something like that. One of my students I had a couple of years, his goal was just to get picked. Coming out of COVID, we didn't get picked in 2022, so he wanted to redo the scouting system, and he looked for different setups and stuff, and he really wanted us to get picked for alliance selection. We actually ended up being captain, so he achieved his goal. That's really cool. Shifting to a mentor now, we kind of have different goals, right? It's not just winning. A lot of the students' goals are winning. Sure, that's fine, and we want to support those goals. But now, as a mentor, I feel like we kind of have secret goals as well, where it's like, okay, their goal is to win. Sure, our secret goal is to help them achieve their goals. So if they want to win, we're going to help them win, right? If they want to have an awesome autonomous, we're going to help them do that, right? If they want to get a robot on the field, we're going to help them do that. You know, it's different shifting from student to mentor, because I don't think it's all about winning now as a mentor. When I was a student, it was for me, but that was just me. But now as a mentor, it's not.
No, absolutely. That's a great point. I completely agree with you. I was the same way.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes it's kind of hard for us as adults because really we don't care. Like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to us whether our teams win or lose. Like we're going to sleep the same at night. Like the reason why we do this is for the kids, to give them this experience and to help them learn and grow. And, you know, like I said, I was the same way as you in high school, where like I just wanted to win. And then, you know, becoming a mentor, I really shifted out of that, and now it's really just about giving them the experience I got. But yeah, it's interesting. Chris?
Yeah, it's basically same thought, basically, right?
That kind of transfers over to being a volunteer too. Which has its own set of rules, right? Do you let them play? Do you close the gate on them? We joke about that a lot, I know, but like it comes down to, especially on a referee side, right?
If you're in the stripe, it's always close the gate.
table.
Close the
It's
gate.
Good.
It's
grief.
Let's move this along.
yeah, it's a really tough call,
Right.
but
But
which I think is why a lot of people shy away from being a ref.
Right, but here, at least from our shoes, right? I think we all agree on this is that we're here for the students. We're here for the students and the team experience, and we want to make sure that at least in terms of match play, it's all fair, but all in a rewarding manner that gives the team a positive experience. I think, and if we're able to have a hand to help them get on the field, maybe a few minutes late, or they need extra time, or any other
Or a lot of time.
a lot of time, right? But I'm like in a case of where they need a little bit of special treatment just so that way they can have a fair opportunity to play the game, then by all means, we're all hands on deck to ensure that team is able to have that experience.
Yeah, we're fine with accommodating, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Right.
An argument that I hear or that I heard, it was big maybe a year or two ago. It was that someone said an adult drive coach is similar to the coach on a football team or the coach on a sports team, and I think that is a really poor comparison.
Yeah, I agree with that. Me too.
Because your football coach, your basketball coach is not running not running alongside you down the field or the
Yep.
court.
Yep.
They're on the sidelines
Yep.
waiting for you to finish the play,
Like
Mhm.
a technician.
like a technician
Like a
would.
technician.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very poor comparison.
Yeah.
And I do not agree with that at all.
I can see similarities,
Yeah.
but I agree. They're not running behind you
Right.
while you're holding the basketball.
And
Right? They're not
they're-
kicking the ball. They're not standing right behind the goalie net.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like two different like worlds, right? Like you have your traditional sports, right? Oh, it's traditional sports, right? You're there to make the students help them win and be competitive, right?
Mhm.
First, it's all about the student experience.
Mhm.
Those are two vastly different worlds
Mhm.
that as an adult coach / mentor, right? You got to have a different mindset on, right? You just can't simply
That's true. You're actually right about that because a lot of esports, the coaches are right behind them too.
Mm.
Right. And they have their own headsets. They can listen in. They can probably talk to the whole team while the match is happening. So I guess, yeah, that's a really good point too. And it's a different type of sport. It's not the traditional sport.
That's fair.
Right,
That's a
yeah.
fair point.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we covered that pretty well.
Yeah. So
But I don't know. It's just something that I don't think is going to change anytime soon. Just because, especially since First is a mentor driven
Mhm.
program, it's a mentor driven program for the students. I don't think we're going to see anything change in that aspect for
No.
a
But
while.
we can try to spread the message. I'd be like, hey, mentors,
Yeah, just
Yeah,
try taking a
just-
back seat.
exactly. Try it
Um,
out. Not like an in season. Sure, if you want to, if you have your priorities there, but like off season, try a technician. Right. See what happens.
Yeah.
You might
yeah.
Well, here's
learn something. Right.
It's funny you bring that up because that's kind of another way I get the ick is when teams only let students drive coach in the off season.
Mhm.
To me, I think that's a very bad look because you're saying, okay, now that it doesn't matter, now you can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I think that's a bad look. Now, if you're just trying it out, sure, but if you're doing it consistently, I think that's
You got to get them
That's off.
started somewhere. Right.
Yeah,
I think
you know,
off season is
yeah.
where it doesn't matter. It's for fun. It's a lot more relaxed and
Mhm.
lighthearted and stuff. It's
Maybe do it. Maybe let them coach a practice match during the season.
yeah.
Or if you have a match that maybe you're not too concerned about winning, maybe put a student there. But I really want to challenge teams to just get the students more into those positions where they have so much to gain from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It matters.
It does matter.
It matters.
But speaking of what matters of that aspect, have you guys worked on Impact or chairman or previous name chairmans or Impact of at all?
I don't have a lot to do with it, but I'm close to people that do.
Okay. So I heard that there was a little bit of controversy. And I'm
Controversy. And
What?
first,
controversy.
Never
Not like
heard of it.
controversy, but like an obstacle about
An obstacle.
of Impact. I believe there was a blog post that was posted a couple weeks ago of that nature of how can't remember specifically what it was, but it was like it involved about Impact and the difficulty of like a due date? You guys know?
No, I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
due date is pretty. So there's a date when you have to submit your essay by,
Okay.
and that's pretty early into build season. So I think for teams that don't meet year round, I think that is a struggle. I mean, I know we definitely struggle with the essay.
How long is the essay?
It's a couple pages. They give you some prompts, I believe,
Okay.
and then you're supposed to answer them throughout the essay.
Mhm.
But
Wouldn't they give you the prompts at the start of build season? No, it has to be earlier than that, right?
we should come back to this topic.
Okay.
Okay.
I can get some more information on it. But yeah, I think it is, especially for newer teams, it is kind of a hard game to get into, especially when you're competing against teams that have a lot of resources. Like, it costs money to put on these big outreach events.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hard thing to get into, but I don't think that should be a reason for anyone to stop trying to get into it, because like you said, you gotta start somewhere. So even if you don't think you have a chance of winning, still put all your stuff together, do the presentation, you're gonna get feedback, and use that to kind of build up your impact portfolio, and just keep going, just keep growing.
Yeah. It's a game I know nothing about because my team's never applied for impact. Sorry, we actually did once a long time ago, before I was on the team. But other than that, that was not my realm. So it's a totally new game for me.
Mhm.
Totally new set of teams on who's top in the league for impact and
is-
stuff.
It is like a completely different, like, additional game.
10,000 characters.
Okay, so the essay is 10,000 characters plus 11 executive summaries of 500 characters. Okay.
11.
Yeah, so those
That's
are those. I think those
crazy.
are the prompts I was talking about.
Okay. 11
Like
prompts.
short answers.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a lot of work. Yeah, props to those guys.
That's a lot of
Oh,
work.
just
We-
chat GPT.
Props to ChatGPT.
Shout out ChatGPT. We have entire groups on our team dedicated to just doing
Yeah,
impact, because
you guys are really big in the
requires-
impact world.
Yeah, you guys win
Um,
it almost
yeah.
every year.
we do a lot to kind of spread that message through our community, and it kind of takes like an entire team to boil that all down into a 10,000 word essay
Yeah,
and a couple short answers.
Right.
So it's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, we don't really, we don't do it for the essay. We do it, more because that's just how our team is, positioned in the community. It's to hopefully be this sort of.
yeah, that's what it should be too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not hosting an event or doing all these outreach stuff for impact. You're doing
Mhm.
it because it's good and you're spreading.
Because you're
first
doing
and
it because of
stuff.
kindness of your heart, and you want to spread that message for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
community. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yep.
It's fun. It's great when like you're doing an event and you're just like, this is so fun.
Mhm.
Like we did our first FLL challenge event this year, and I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I was working it. It was just like a great day. I left feeling so good, and I want to do so many more.
That's great. That's great. So, yeah,
That's great. You think it's great?
I do think it's great.
Moving
Do
on
you-
to sorry.
Do you volunteer in any of the other programs, FTC or FLL? I do not. I've only seen them.
Right. So I'm a little guilty, which I should actually, but I've never touched FTC as not even a student or a volunteer, so I don't know literally anything
Mhm.
about that world of FTC. The only other time that I volunteered for FLL was, I believe it was 2 years ago. I was helping out at the Michigan State Championship FLL Shark Week, I think it was called.
Week.
Shark Week.
Shark Fest.
Shark Fest.
Oh,
That's
Shark
what Shark
Fest.
Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, which hosted by our team
Hammerheads.
Hammerheads 226. I think Argonauts as well, 8728. I think they have a hand in it as well.
Oh, the ones from Ohio.
No. Another team in Troy.
Oh,
Another
other
team in Troy.
Argonauts,
Yeah,
okay.
another Argonauts. Where I volunteered as a head ref there, and then the following year as a judge,
Mhm.
for Shark Fest, and I felt it was really rewarding.
Yeah.
Seeing
No.
seeing the little kids.
Absolutely.
Absolutely ecstatic, having a great time at the events, and just seeing them work their butts off
Mhm.
to get where they're at and to have this fun experience.
Yeah.
It was like genuinely like eye opening, like
Rewarding is exactly the word I would use. I remember the first time I volunteered outside of FRC. I was actually head ref at an FTC event, and that was like that felt, honestly, that was like the best day ever. Like I felt it was so rewarding, so fun, and it just made me want to do it so much more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I would definitely encourage people, like, if you only volunteer in FRC, to branch out. If you have a competition that's like close to you, just go check it out, you know. But
do you guys think it's as or more or less competitive than an FRC event? Not that I care about that. I'm just curious.
You know,
Like how
honestly,
heated do these middle schoolers get?
FTC, yeah.
Really?
Like they get into
it
the same way like high schoolers
Sweet.
get into it.
Oh wow.
I like seeing that. I like the passion. I like the work ethic for sure. But like seeing their passion into it is awesome too.
Right.
Yeah. For everyone that's not aware, in Michigan, FTC is only available in middle school.
Yeah.
Right. In most cases. And I know that in other areas of the states in the world, FTC is available throughout high school. But here in Michigan, it's just middle school. So if you ever hear us talking about the middle school event, we're talking about FTC.
Yeah.
Right. So I never knew this too. I never knew, how into FTC the teams and the mentors they get into it. Yeah. But for FLL, so the strange thing about FLL is that obviously the teams and the students they want to do the best they can, and they do get into it, right? But the funny thing is the parents. It's the parents that take it to.
These parents really get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one fan.
Number one fan.
My son.
Yeah.
Man.
That's my boy. Look at this little robot go.
It's like no different than seeing like at a softball game or like a soccer game or football game. That's my kid right there.
Yeah.
It's like it's no different. But here's the thing, right? I don't fault the parents. I get their passion. I get they want their kid, their team to do well, and by all means, support them and all that stuff. But we encourage it, right? It's just sometimes when things get a little heated or they don't agree with, that's when the quote unquote soccer mom mentality comes through, and we get the full earful of it. Where I remember full blunt end, where though that Shark Fest when I was a head ref, there was a parent that came up to me and two other volunteers and asked for like a clarification of the rules, and I did the best to explain it within the manual of FLL, and they didn't agree with it, and for a whole 10 minutes kept going and going and going, and it's
At some point you just gotta cut them off and be
where
you just gotta do the head ref card and be like, this is final.
Well, yeah, where it's like, just tone it down. Let's just
take a breather.
Make sure your team is doing good. Make sure they're having fun. They did the best they can. I wish the best of luck to you. So Coopertition.
Bring back real cooperation.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Not just hitting a button.
Oh.
Like actually working with the other Lions.
Yeah, I want to see a common goal.
Yeah.
That both teams are scoring into. Kind of like 2015, stacking the totes in the middle of the field. That was good. I think cooperation is fun. I think it's not always like a huge part of the game, but I think it's a good way to kind of remember, kind of bring the spirit back into it a little bit, and just kind of put that more in the forefront.
Yeah. Do you know what's really funny that I think a lot of people forgot about in Crescendo this year? Week 1, where robots were putting notes into the opposing alliance's amp. I totally forgot about that.
That was good.
Months ago, Coopertition. Doing it for your alliance.
Yeah, that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
That's funny. I remember being asked that rule. I literally had to do a double take on the rule book to see if that was legal.
Touched. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You just know, Brian. The first time that happened, he went.
Yeah. Looking through the rules.
Yep.
ChatGPT, can I do that?
So good. So,
all right, well, we should probably go into our final topic here, which is Probably one of the more deeper ones.
Another one.
Yeah, we don't really, we like to keep things upbeat on this show, but we do need to talk about some deep things.
Yeah, we talk about the
sometimes.
hard stuff. Yeah.
What is the best food as a volunteer? I think we already talked about this, but let's just rehash it
Again, why not? I love food.
It's,
Well, I
you love
love
food.
food too. Look at little Billy. Little Billy's asking for food. That's what he's asking right now.
Yeah.
That's
did we all agree that it was Belleville or
I'd say so.
The best event that has the best food, or the best location?
best volunteer food.
Oh, best volunteer food.
Like food
Yes.
itself.
food
Yes,
itself.
just
Okay,
purely
interesting.
only
I
on
think
food.
the what was it? The Chipotle, not Chipotle, the Qdoba that
Ooh.
Detroit City Championship had this year.
When
It was
events
good.
get it catered by Qdoba, Chipotle,
That's not a
Wingstop,
typical catering company.
Olive
Yeah.
Garden.
Yes, yes.
Olive
yes,
Garden, Wingstop,
Yes.
Epic.
Savvy Sliders.
Savvy
Epic.
Slide. I'll tell you.
Awesome.
I'll tell a story real quick of how the last year's Macomb district event. His name is Ian Barber. He is a mentor on 818 and a volunteer coordinator, or excuse me, event coordinator.
His address is
3
33. No, go on.
He catered for the volunteers Olive Garden and Wingstop.
Yeah.
Now, since when an event had freaking Olive Garden and Wingstop
Change
for
the game.
volunteer, like,
I can't remember a time.
Change the game.
Now, don't get me wrong. Belleville, for example, they have pretty good food for volunteers. They have got their own private culinary program to where where there's I remember last 2 years ago, they got this chef that brought out a whole like St. Patrick's Day stuff. So they had cod, corned beef, steamed cabbage, shrimp cocktail. They had shrimp cocktail
Yeah, they did.
at Belleville,
Yeah.
which I could not believe.
That's crazy.
How they were able to serve that for volunteer. I made their money's worth, by the way. I really ate a lot of it. But besides the point, Wingstop and Olive Garden, those are like Wingstop is like, oh, that's good. It's good. It's like whatever. Olive Garden though, that is
was
a
good.
fine, real
Like I kinda-
Italian restaurant establishment
You said-
that was
You
accomplished.
said real and Italian.
It doesn't take much to make us happy.
Really, and
We could be in a roasting gym. We could have no AC. We could have whatever, no heat, whatever, and the food's good.
Dude, if
I'll
you
come
give me
back.
if you give me good food and
Yeah.
a cooler full of Gatorade,
Yep.
I'm
we're
coming
good.
back to your event.
Yeah.
Like we don't volunteer just for the food as we discussed. We do it for the
I don't know
kids.
about you,
But man, the food does determine
food
where
matters
we
a lot.
go.
Yep.
food
The
matters.
food is in our ranking system.
The food
That's how
is
much
in
it
our
matters.
ranking system, which we'll discuss on a later date.
Yeah, we can.
Until then, any closing arguments?
Not arguments, but I'm just make sure the food is great.
Food is great,
Pour all your money on the food.
and
Entire life savings. in
our
food.
views are our views alone and do not represent the views of our teams.
Oh, good one. Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to be a guest on the show.
And you hit that bell icon.
And follow our social.
No. We're supposed to cut there. Okay.
Oh, oopsies. Sorry.